Hi, I'm Ben with apptools.us. Today I'm going to show you an app that I wrote many years ago. I've been using it for over 15 years, and I just updated it to make a first public version available. It's called Index Cards. I know it's not a fancy name, but it is plain text, and it's searchable text. It's really nice, really quick, and my card stack goes back to 2011, I think, or even before that. It's pretty simple. When you purchase it, you'll get a license key. Well, I'm going to start from the beginning today. I'm going to be just demonstrating it on the Mac. So when you start it, you'll see it'll ask you for the email address that you registered it under. Your license key is tied to your email address, so if somebody else comes along and puts in their email address, it's not going to work. License key is tied to the email address. Today I'm using user at email as a demonstration. I'm going to throw in a license key here. Of course, I won't reveal that. And register. I save for Mac, generate the key. Sorry. Index cards for Mac, generate the key. That's the wrong one. Copy. User at email. Once you key in your email address and registration key, it'll ask you for a password. This is the password that you will need in order to gain access to it. So it is saved under your profile for Mac and or Windows, and you, in addition to being saved under your profile, your password is required to gain access. I can't get access, nobody else can get access. Maybe the NSA, maybe the CIA, whatever, they could probably do it, but the average person is not going to get in. So I'm going to create a password here. As you create the password, it will tell you where you messed up. Looks like I messed up quite a bit. Let me try this again. There we go. Now everything's green. Set the password, and it will tell you you've got to restart. This is true. It'll close it. Now it's registered. Go back to your index cards, launch it. It'll prompt you for the password. This is version 3.10, and it'll open it up. This is your default screen. It's pretty cool, pretty simple, pretty cool. Just start typing. This is the top. This is, let's see, this is the top card, and you can just save it. And I'll go down through the buttons. To add a card, you just click this button here. You can add a card, and this is card 2. Save. And of course, we've already got to the save button. We already know what that is. You can hit Control S. So if you type some stuff here, and Control or Command S, depending on if you're on the Mac or the PC. This is an import button, export, wrap or no wrap text, information about the card. This is the automatic file name that is generated for the card. You can change that to say something like, this is card 2. And I always add the text because this is plain text. If you go back to the first card, you can swipe your scrubber down here back to the first card. This is the top card, and I can go up to the file name and I can change it and say this is the first or top card. I don't remember what I said. Top card.text. Now, things you can do here is you can change the font, of course. If you, I don't know, let's just maybe we want, oops, maybe we want Courier That's a typical popular one that I use. Maybe Monaco. Maybe a, I don't know if Wingdings still exists anymore. It does, but it does in this version. I mean, in this, the fonts come from your computer. So if that font is not installed in your computer, it's not going to show up. And Wingdings is being deprecated in Mac, so that's probably why that looks like way. Let's go to, like, I don't know, maybe there's a script of some sort. Script or Trebuchet. There's this funny look one there. It'll change the font. I'll get into sizing in just a minute. I'm going back to Courier because that's typically what I will use, Courier or Monaco. To delete the card, you can just hit this delete button. It'll make sure that you want to delete it, and you hit delete and it will. I'm going to delete the second card, so I'm going to scrub over here to the second card, and we're going to say delete here. Delete. It'll come up with a message telling you what's happening, and then it's gone. This is where you search. There's not enough cards here to search yet, and then if you want to find an exact phrase, you can do that here. So let me prep this. Several cards. I've added 10 cards. So we have 10 cards, and then they're all blank right now, except for the top one. And let's say that I just wanted to see all of them at once. You hit the enter key down here, or you can just drag this over right here, and you can see all the cards. Or you can hit, I think you can hit the command for find. Yeah. And that'll open and close it. Command F on the Mac. I'm on the Mac today. Command F will open. Command F will close that card as long as you're in that field. I don't know about other fields. Let's see. Yep, that does work there. What if I'm actually in this field over here? Command F. Yep, works everywhere. Pretty nice. It works at least in those places. So you would think that I would know that, but this is a new version. So, and I did try to write in keyboard navigation. So if you find something wrong, let me know, and I'll see if I can fix it or change it. Let's say that I have a card stack and I just want to delete everything. You can do that. I'm holding down the command. See, on the Mac it is, let me figure out which one it is on the Mac. So I have two options on the Mac. Three options. I have Shift, Option, or Command will cause it to bring up this delete all cards. Delete all cards. Depending on how many cards, this could take a while. Since we only have 10 and it's relatively new, it's real quick. It deletes the last card and then puts in a new one. If you notice, this says 582. If I delete the card, it'll put in a new card, 363. So it deletes the original. So here's the original. I'll save that and I'll say, no, I don't want this. I want to delete that. It deletes the card and then puts in a new one. Because you can never have less than one card in the stack. Sizing. Font sizing is cool. You can just bring it up and it makes it bigger. Bring it down, makes it smaller. That was kind of a nice feature. So this, I don't know, let's say the cow jumped over the moon. And we'll save that. And as you know, if you're having trouble reading it, bring it up a little bigger. You can see it. And if you've got really good eyes, you can go real tiny. Although I really can't see that. I suppose if you really want to go that small, but I just did a range there. And then here's the scrubber. Let's see. Options. Searching fields. So let's set up first. Let me add some cards. So we'll open it up. We see the first one says a card. These are always shown in alphabetical order. So when I hit enter, I have a top card. I have 6 cards in this example, so we have one top card, and since it does alphabetical order, the number 1 apparently comes before the rest, and apparently capital letters come before lower letters. So I guess that's the way this particular system sorts. So the help screen is available right here. I'll bring that over in this browser. It's all the help and the details about the application, about index cards. Is a help filtering example section, and that's what I'm following. There are 6 cards in my example, the 5 cards here on the one, but if we search for just the words that have the or cow on it, and I put that in here and I put in the cow, it'll bring up 4 cards. If I want to find the cards that have exactly the phrase the cow, then I just hit the exact, let me squish this down a little bit, I have exactly, find exact, and we see that there are 2 cards that have exactly that phrase. The cow jumped over the moon, and this one just has the cow as a list of animals. Now if I want to narrow it down even further, we just keep adding words so that we can hit the find exact. So we said jumped over and find exact, and it brings up just the card that has that. Very quick, very easy. I've used this so long and I love it, and I'm going to continue to use it. Before we had, let me get this off the screen, before we had a place to store passwords in the cloud from Apple, Microsoft, 1Password, LastPass, and all of the others that are out there, I would store my passwords in this index cards, and it was fantastic. I had all my passwords here. I don't do that anymore. I subscribe to 1Password. I think that they have a very good model for security. Not sponsored. They're not sponsoring me. I just think that they're good, and I've used them for several years now. I don't store passwords in here anymore, although there's no reason you could not store passwords in here. The other places, the Apple, Microsoft, the 1Password charges an annual subscription. If you don't want to pay the subscription fee, one time you pay this, but it stays on your computer. It's not shared on any cloud device, so it stays under lock and key on your computer. So your computer has a password. Hopefully you put a password in there, and then this has a password as well. That password cannot directly access the database that's behind here. It has to be in conjunction with this application. So that's pretty secure. It's, I believe, 256-bit encryption, so very good encryption, very standard encryption. There we go. So we've got some cards. We have, what else do I need to go over here? Let's see, I went over the buttons. Oh, yes, of course. Didn't do the drag and drop. Okay, here I have a demo folder with a couple of files in it. I'm going to take 3 files and just drag and drop them over here onto the white area. If this area is grayed out, and I'll show you that in a minute, it will not accept it, but it has to be on a bright area. So we just track this and just drop this over here, and it'll import those and name them, and it also takes note of where they were imported from. So this is a binary file, or it thinks it's a binary file. It's a PDF file, and that is a binary file. If it thinks it's a binary file, you will not be able to edit it. It'll store it, but you won't be able to edit it. Code snip. Let's see the code snip. Yeah, here's a little code snippet that I had from I was testing, and then here is another binary file that was an example of a torn retina, what it looks like to see through a torn retina. Okay, and so that's it. So you can also import files just by clicking here, and it will bring up a screen of documents, and you can pick multiples, and you can bring them over, select them, and it will import those as well. Quick and easy. Now they're indexed because, you know, you find the word test, boom, brings it right up. You know, it's very nice. A quick index way of looking at the stuff and finding things that you need, and it could go back for years. You can store stuff for years, and I have, and it works, and I love it. If you stretch this out a little further, you'll be able to see the actual path. Well, here it is, the path in this information section of where it is, where it came from, where it's going to. You don't have to show that. It's also shown over here, and you can see basically where the stuff is and where it's supposed to be going to. Alright. Keyboard navigation. Maybe it might be good to know the escape key. So when you first open it, it comes up to, let me see if I get this right. I'll log in. It comes up to the search field. Yeah, so if it comes up to the search field first, all you have to do is hit enter to see all your cards. If you hit escape, first off, if I control F that to shut the find section down, and we hit escape, we can go to the plus new card area. If I go to the plus new card and I hit the down arrow, I can go right into editing. Can now edit this card. So there's some keyboard navigation in there. If we have the find area open and I hit escape, it will go to the find area, I believe, and switch between the find area, and you can use the arrow keys to scroll through, or it will go to the escape will go back to the search area. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, that's it. It's really basic. It's really simple, but it's so useful. So useful when you're searching for things about when was the fence installed, or when was my solar panels installed, or here's one, how about, I don't know if it has the word solar in it, but Everbright, B-R-I-G-H-T, was my solar company that they still haven't installed the panels on. I mean, they've installed them, but they're still not hooked up after 3 tries. We're going to go on the, I guess to be fair, the first one wasn't an official try, but they're going to try to do them Monday. We'll see if they get them done. But this is a proposal. It's a PDF file, but I can export this, and it'll export it. I can even rename it here, and it'll I can just say test PDF and export it. And let's see, if I go over there, it should be there. Here it is, and here it is. It will always export to the name of the website, which is apptools.us, and I always tag my so far I have tagged my the application after the name of the website, and it's a reverse naming convention. I believe Apple came up with that, but it's good, it works, and so I use it across both Windows and Apple. So us.apptools.indexcards.exports, and here it is. And if I were to open that, let me open it over here. If I squish it down a little bit here, I can bring it back over. Let's fix that, and here's the contract from Texas Solar. I don't want to go into all the details because it's got personal information on it, but it's there. And I'll close that. So it's there, but you've got a copy of it, so that's very nice. So it will store binary files. I believe it's a 100 megabit limit. So if you've got a really large one, it's not going to go in here. But most cards are only a page max. You can store apps in there up to 100 meg. I haven't tested every app, obviously. A bit could get flipped or not work. So always keep a backup. Always keep a backup, no matter what. I would recommend even backing up this. This is going to be stored. This data, I'll bring that up. Let me bring that up so you'll know where it is. On Mac and Windows, it's going to be in the user library. I'm going to bring up my library under application support. That was what they started with. That's what I'm currently using for both Windows and Mac. The application support. So on your Mac, it'll be your username under users, under your username, your library under your username. There's a folder called application support, and in there you'll see US App Tools index cards. Well, this is the demo I'm running today. It's 5 megabytes, this little bit here, and this is my normal one's 300 megabytes. Back this up. It's good to have a backup somewhere. It's encrypted 256, and you need the application to get to it. Or you can export the cards. If you're just using the index function, it's okay to export, and you have nothing sensitive, and you can just export it to your exports folder in Documents. Path is right there. User bin Documents, US App Tools index cards, exports, and of course that's where I was doing. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Let me just export all these cards. Let me export one first. I'll just do one of them. Export. It tells me here it is. I can rename it if I want. I'm just going to export it, and there it is. So now let's say I wanted to export all of them as kind of a backup, because I'm not storing anything sensitive here. So if I'm not storing anything sensitive and I'm just using the index card and lookup functions of it, I can just export it, everything to the folder there. Let's see. If I hold down the command, I don't have to hold it down. Okay, right. Sorry. I went through several iterations, and I think this is the one I finally settled on. So if you want to export just the current card, then you can do that, and it will export it. It will overwrite existing cards with the same name. It will overwrite files. That's why I'm warning you here. It's going to overwrite these, so make sure that there's nothing there that you want to keep. So the exports folder is the catch-all folder for your index cards. And if you say, I want to export all of them, then you just click the all of them, and you just say export, and here it goes. Man, that is fast today. Some days it's not that fast. I don't know why. But here they all are. Boom. Done. They're all at 12:44. Today's the whatever today is. Today's the 27th of January, Saturday. And there it is. Instant backup. Provided you're not doing anything secure there. Even though this should already be secure, just remember it's not inside of index cards. It is in your documents folder. So if somebody can get to your documents, they can get to this. There's that. We did imports, exports. We did not do a really long wrap, no wrap function. Let me just copy paste. And I'm just going to make this really big. One line, one really long line. Now, if I want to see this as wrapped, then that's the default. But if I want to see it unwrapped, and just put it out there. So you'll have to drag your bar here at the bottom to see how long it is and to get all the data. If you want to see it wrapped, just click the wrap button again and it'll wrap it back. Excellent feature, especially if you're looking at a lot of code. So we've gone over registration. Let's see what we've gone over here. Make sure we've done everything. We've gone over the registration, setting a password, new card, saving changes. Import. Oh, the prepping. I haven't gone over that yet. Wrap, no rep, file inode, delete, font size and selector. Card selector. Selecting a card, searching examples, preferences, vacuum maintenance. Okay, so I need to go over prepping. Alright, and I need to go over vacuum and preferences, and then we'll be done. Great. So let me re-import these. Let me re-import a few of these. So I can re-import these right over what I just did, and it will bring them over, and there'll be duplicate cards. The thing about duplicate cards, though, even though it saves it, it recognizes the name as a duplicate card. So when I go to export, it's going to say, hey, these cards are duplicates. You need to change these. You need to change the name of each one of these. So what I typically do when this happens to me, and it does happen quite often, what I'll do is I'll take the second one, double click it, and I'll just put a 2 on it, because I don't want to go through the time right now. Right now I'm just interested in getting them exported. I'm busy, I'm in a hurry, so I'll just change it and those go away. Now the cows, I'll have to do the same thing, so I'll hit number 2, I'll just add a 2 to it. Boom, taken care of. Same thing here on the rhyme, and then the same thing here on the state. Now that they're all unique. Now that they're all unique, I can now export them one or export all of them. And we'll just watch it here. It'll overwrite everything. The timestamp should change here. Export. Boom. And I believe the timestamp changed. There's 49. The timestamp. I just wanted to let you know that it will overwrite your cards. We'll just test that theory right here. I'll open this card and I'll say we'll just put a bunch of junk in here, and I'll save it, and it's overwritten. Now I'm going to overwrite all the cards by doing this again. Just export them. Yep, it does. It overwrites it, and it does take the new timestamp. Oh, good. I don't know why I got confused there, because it was too close. But yeah, you can see it overwrote it immediately. There's the prepping. Ah, the vacuuming. There's this thing called re-indexing in databases, where you re-index the files and it fixes all the blank spots and puts it all down nice and neat again. Well, to do that, in this particular one, it's called vacuuming. It's a consumer term, but it's basically re-indexing. However, I can't start the vacuuming process and have it feed back to the user. So your screen's just going to freeze up while it's vacuuming. It's not going to do anything. I tried to write different versions around that problem so that I could get it up onto the App Store. Oh gosh, it was just ridiculous. So I ended up writing a version that would just index, and it called vacuuming, and it makes your screen freeze. It's not very user friendly, but it helps to get it faster again. If you go to the file, there is a vacuum selection, and it will re-index. We're going to do it here. I don't know if it's going to take a long time. It's going to be real short. It's just a hit or miss, it seems, in Mac, and same in Windows. I don't know. I don't run it very often. I mean, it's not necessary because it doesn't get slow on me. I've got over 1,000 cards, and it's not slow. It's fast. So I very rarely do it. But I put this here because I figured if you have a lot of cards, it's going to be necessary if you keep deleting and rearranging and redoing cards. So we're going to do it right here. What it's going to do, it's going to give you a warning. It's going to say it takes several minutes per gigabyte of space. Well, we're at the megabyte level right now. It's going to return unused space back to the operating system. So if you've deleted a bunch of cards, the thing stays big. The card is gone, but the file itself, I believe that file is over here, it stays the same size. We're at 5 megabytes right now. And we'll do this a couple of different ways, and we'll try to see if it helps demonstrate what's going on. But I'm going to start it. So the database is 5.36 megabytes. 5.4 is rounded over here, but it's actually 5.36. Okay, so I'm going to start the vacuum. It says your screen may freeze during this operation. Yes, it might. And let's hope it works, in a little live demo here. So I do bring it up, start vacuuming time. Oh, it worked so fast. It did it in 4 seconds. So it didn't even get a chance to freeze because it was so small. And I guess since it's so small, that's as small as it's going to get, 5.4 megabytes. Let me see if I can get it really messy. Oh, well, because I haven't deleted anything. Let's try to delete them. Let's just delete everything. Let me delete all of the cards. Delete all cards. And we're deleting the cards. And if you notice, it stayed the same size, but we only have 1 card and it's blank. So let's vacuum again. Let's see what it looks like this time. Vacuum. 5.35. Oh, it went from 5.36 to 5.35. So let's start vacuuming. And it went down to 49K. So that's a lot less than 5 megabytes. But if you have thousands of cards, that's going to freeze, and it's going to take a while. And you might have to let it run quite a while. So that's why I gave you that warning. So when you're vacuuming, your screen may freeze during this process, and it takes several minutes per gigabyte. So that's why the warning is there. And on the Mac, it's Command, comma, on all of those. Oh, you can display the scrubbing indicator. Yeah, I should go over that. Let me know if you want it changed. But the default is to search the file name, the text, and the path. It doesn't search these fields, but you can turn them on if you want. The scrubber. And let's say I'm clicked here on number here. Let's see if I can make this happen. Yep. So let's say I scroll down to here, and then my mouse runs over this bar. It's going to put me back on the card that I'm on. So if I'm like, let's say I'm on animals. Let's say I'm on animals here. But I come down here and I'm looking here at card number 28. But then I put my mouse over this area. It's going to scroll right back to whatever card you're highlighted on. Same goes in reverse. So if I'm here and I scroll up to here, and then I come down here over this thing, on the way to the search, it's going to scroll me down to the card I've got highlighted. So that's just something to be aware of. It will not turn off, I don't think. It turns off the visual. Let's see. I don't think it turns off. Yeah, it's always going to go back. So if you want that changed, let me know. I'll see what I can do. But like, if you want to get here without scrolling, you got to go around that. See? And then you can get there, and then say test.pdf, and it'll take you there. But if you're scrolling over, let me bring up all the cards again. But if you're scrolling over this, it's going to bring you right back to whichever card you have highlighted if it's not in the window. And then here, what you can do, you can scroll down, and you can scrub down. So if you can see how you can scrub to the card, but if it goes out of window, it doesn't update until you release it. So if you see like you have 4. Okay, and you want to quickly see more details. You can either come out here and look at the name, or you can look up here, and as you're scrolling, it repopulates the data at the top to let you know which one you're looking at. And that was the purpose for that. But yeah. Oh, restore window size. That's one I should go over, because I wrote that in here because it's such a pain when it happens, and it doesn't happen very often. But I have multiple monitors, and sometimes, and I haven't figured out how it does it, but it'll get off the screen, and I can't get to this. I can't get to this bar, and it's only on certain combinations. Now, happening on demand is not going to happen, but let's say that it is. Let's say that I can't see it, but I can select it. I can select the bottom part of it, so I can have this in there, and I go to, on the Mac it's Command R, but I'll hit Command R here, and it boom puts it to the original settings in the window where I can see the darn thing again. And it will go back and forth between the last 2 settings you had. So even though I push it back here, you can bring it right back to where you were, which is really nice. So if I go maximize, and then I do an R, see, and let's say I stretch this way. I think I actually have to close it. Let's see, if I close it and then I reopen it, and then I go back in here, and yep, and there you go. See, it remembered my setting from last time, and it goes to that. But if you don't like that, just hit the R, and whatever you close it at, that's where it remembers. It remembers that setting, so it comes up like that the next time. So that's kind of a nice feature, because usually you want it back at the same size that you had it before, and it remembers that, saves it in the database. Well, this was the Mac demonstration. It's pretty much the same for Windows. I don't know if I'm going to make one for Windows, but if I do get around to it, I'll make one for Windows. Fantastic. I love this thing. I've used it for years. I recommend it to you. Of course, I wrote it, and I have a vested interest in it. It's $39.95 right now, and this is, 2 Windows and Mac. I've got iSave out there for Windows and Mac. That's also a good one. I use that every time I'm coding. I use that every time, and I love it. It's just freaking fantastic. I would like to add a feature to it where it has an automatic archive folder instead of putting it in the same folder, because the folders get real big. But I love it. And I use the stock app. The stock app is my 3rd application. Until next time, have a good one. We'll see ya.